All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the powers of Israel, aka the powers of Great Millstone. Peace and love to all I can continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick, a couple things as pertaining to this war. But before I get into that, I just let it be known, you know what I'm saying? To the Akim, brothers and sisters that's, believers, know that it's close, man. Things are happening. A lot of things are happening. I mean, it's like so many things are happening. It's very hard to literally keep track. You know what I'm saying? But the war is intensifying. These devils getting the beast system ready is intensifying, and it's an influx of things. That's a lot of things coming to pass as far as prophecy goes. Now, I just seen something. Now, this one article is like a couple weeks old, and there's another article where there's talking about there's about to be 3 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers headed to the Middle East as we speak, or to be deployed over there. And then a couple weeks ago, because it's where I got the title of the video, it says, "Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up," because that's exactly what's happening. All of the nations, including America, which is Babylon the Great in the Bible, all of these nations are getting ready for what? War. And what war is that? The third woe, the war to end all wars, World War III. That's the time. We're in the times of World War III. Look, if you literally look at what's happening. There's no other explanation. No other explanation. Now out of no, it's not out of nowhere, but when the Lord said the end shall speak, and at the day the Lord is near, it is near. This is what he was talking about. The third woe shall come quickly. This is what he was talking about. These are the things that the disciples saw. You had the disciples that seen visions. They had visions of the things that's taking place as we speak, the things that's taking place in this present day. You had prophets, you had men of the Lord see the war of with Yahawashi and these nations, man. The book of Isaiah, the book of 2nd Esdras, Revelation. The list goes on, and now it's all coming to fruition. Now it's all being seen. All right, but still, you still have to have the spiritual for lack of better terms, wokeness to really see. Because here it is, all this stuff is happening, and you still got people walking around like ain't nothing happening. You got people talking about, oh, that's not gonna happen, but dog, it's already happening. You can't say it's not happening, it's already happening. It's already started. The Valley of Jehoshaphat pertaining to the book of Joel is taking place as we speak. Where do you think all this war stuff is stemming from? You had the war that happened with Russia, Ukraine. It didn't start this kind of madness that the whole thing with the small hats over there in our land and the impact it's having on the earth. The whole thing now, America being heavily involved. So anyway, got this one article. So this is from the Military Times, and this is from April 2nd. So this is a couple weeks ago. I believe today's the the 18th? No, today's the 20th. So yeah, this is like a little over 2 weeks ago. So this is from Military Times, and it reads, and it's for the Marine. It says, "Prepare your family. Marine Reserve Commander gives warlike safety brief." Now this is from Thursday, April 2nd. All right. So it says, in a weekend address to his troops as news headline trumpeted the possibility of upcoming combat deployments, the 3-star head of Marine Corps Reserve Command had a message. Get your camis ready. I guess that's some war shit. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it says, yeah, get your camis ready. Get your camis ready. It says, in a March 26th message on his official letterhead, Lieutenant General Leonard F. Anderson asked his troops to consider whether they were ready for the possibility of being called up in the Iran war, because that's what you have happening. Assemble yourselves, gather yourselves together, prepare war, proclaiming this among the Gentiles. Now, Chris, you got Jake and these armies, but at the end of the day, this is the war of the Gentiles. And you're gonna have a lot of Jake get caught up in here because they went in the way of the heathens. But the Lord is primarily talking to heathens, all right? So he's basically saying that whether they were ready for the possibility of being called up in the Iran war. Now, obviously, they're going to get called up. Anybody that's in the service these days and age, you're going to get called up to the war. There's not going to be a time where it's like, all right, there's enough. Because like they already said that America is short-handed in their military. And remember, the war hasn't really gotten super duper crazy yet. Remember, these are Marines, so like the Marines are always the first. All right, but anyway, it says, I ask you directly, are you truly ready to deploy, fight, and win? Yeah, obviously they're not gonna win, but they gotta have that same kind of rhetoric of they can't be beaten because that's the pride of Esau. Esau thinks that for somehow when this war is over, they're gonna be able to have America, they're gonna be able to regroup and that they're gonna be good. Remember, Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. They don't think they're going down. Same thing as Pharaoh thought. He didn't think he was going down, but there's going to be a moment. There's going to be a moment. There's going to be a moment where Esau, from the elites up on down to the bottoms of these Edomites, they're going to know like, damn, it's over for us. All right, but anyway, it says, are your skills sharp, your standards high, and your gear prepared for immediate movement? He wrote, is your desert Marpat readily available? Is your gear packed and ready to pick up and move? Or is it stored away in the corner of your home? Are your family's affairs in order? Hold up. What does that sound like? That's when they say, yo, are you ready for war? What did Pete Hegseth said last year? This past year, was it August, September, or whatever? He said, fuck all that woke shit, fuck all that gender shit, fuck all that shit. He didn't say the F word, but he said, what? Prepare for war. We're in a time of war. You got Russia getting ready for war, China getting ready for war, Iran getting ready for war. Well, Russia's already at war. America's already at war. So you can have, that's what the Lord said. You should hear wars and rumors of wars. So that means there's going to be actual wars happening and then rumors of wars. So it's going to be more wars because eventually the rumors are going to also turn into wars. All right? Continuing on, it says, these questions, he continued, were about readiness. When a call comes, readiness will be assumed, not questioned, he wrote. Your readiness is not a declaration, it is a daily commitment. The letter made a stir as it circulated on social media. Now remember, there's already been backlash from the American U.S. military service members about this war and how they be trying not to fight in it. Well, this is to the Marines, and particularly the Marine Reserves, it says. And the Marines are the first to go. So he basically said, are you prepared to be deployed at any moment? Is your gear ready? Is your stuff ready? All right? It said the letter made a stir as it circulated on social media channels, with some posters speculating that it was a fake and others questioning its meaning. Sounds like a warning order, one user wrote on LinkedIn. In an exclusive interview with Military Times on Thursday, Aaron said he hadn't become aware until a few days prior that his letter, which he confirmed authentic, was creating a stir. So it's legit. It's legit. He said it's authentic. He confirmed it. It's been confirmed. All right. His handwritten postscript, fights on, was, he said, the slogan of Marine Fighter Attack Squadron VMFA 312. His old squadron where he flew the F-A-18C Hornet. I'm gonna get the scripture now. Hold up. Hold up. Do I have my Bible on me? I got my Bible on me. Bear with me, because if I got my Bible, I ain't got it, because my work phone kind of. Oh shit, it's not in here. Oh, there's my tablet alive? Nope. So I have to go to the website, to the King James app. Okay, King James. Okay. Now, this is a classic, but you know, hey, it's coming to pass more and more every day. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, and it reads, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." And that's where I got the title of the video, because that's what's happening. What did this Marine Reserves Commander General, what did he just say? Readiness. Are you ready to be deployed at a moment's notice? The same thing going on in these other countries. They're what? Preparing for war. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Matter of fact, if you want to get technical with America, the war's already started. Iran, Israel, they already started fighting now. They got this quote unquote ceasefire going on right now, but eventually we know how this is going to end. It's this war, the war on earth, the wars on the earth won't officially stop until YAHAWASHI, who the world called Jesus Christ, comes back. So you're gonna be seeing new wars, war news, what civil unrest news, civil war news, just all kinds of tensions all throughout the earth, especially in America. All right. Oops. Verse 10, it says, "Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong." And that's what's happening right now. You got Iran, you got these Middle Eastern countries, these countries that are not quote unquote superpowers. You got Iran talking big shit against America, saying that y'all can't fuck with us, y'all can't touch us, saying that they waiting for you. You would have never heard that you would have never heard that 50, 60 years ago. Iran talking shit to America. Now, granted, they have superpowers backing them, but Iran is holding their own right now against America. Without the military help of Russia, without the military help of China. Yeah, they could be getting a little assistance of little intelligence here and there, but as far as military, like boots on it, because you know America hasn't put boots on the ground. But there's rumors that they're still talking about putting boots on the ground, which we know they're going to have to put boots on the ground. Here, and you still got Amalek running amok, going against the program, well, they're not going off script. They're going according to the scriptures. But as far as as the optic goes, Israel's always going off going against the grain against America, who's the reason why they're in the reason why they're just holding their own right now. Because they're getting so much help from America. Like if the small hats didn't have America's help, they would be getting cream right now. More than America, and they're getting cream right now. That's why they got a ceasefire. They talk about they running out of weapons. All right, so it's going down. Just Joel chapter 3, verse 11, and it says, "Assemble yourselves, come all ye heathen, and now you can throw Jacob in there because you got Jake in the militaries. All right, seed of Jacob scattered, but especially here in America, you actually have so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans. You have them in the U.S. military. You have them in UK military. You have Jake in the militaries as well. But really, this is for the heathen because what the heathen are the ones calling the shots. All right. Verse 12, and it reads, "Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about." Now that's where all this is stemming from. The valley of Jehoshaphat, over there in the land of what? Jerusalem, Israel. And those imposters who are really the Amalekites, they're in our land, defiling it, being pests on the earth, causing so much trouble, giving everybody so much hell. And that's why the Lord said, what? You should be despised. The seed of Esau, you're going to be despised, but mainly you damn Amalekites, man. Because look what you've done. Look, you brought America into war. You got the American Edomites mad at you. You got the whole world mad at you, talking about like, yo, we need this war to stop. But why did this war start? That's the question. Why did this war start? Because of who? The Amalekites, the small hats. And it's been going on since what now? 2023? And now you got Iran involved, and now you got America involved. Now you have America and Iran fighting each other on the behest of Amalek. You got Russia and America at odds because of who? Amalek that's in the Ukraine. So you can't say that they're not responsible for what's going on. You can't blame the migrants on that. You can't blame the immigrants on that. You can't blame the northern tribes on that. You can't blame quote unquote illegal immigrants on that. The illegal immigrants didn't attack Iran. The so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native American, they didn't attack Iran. All right? And they didn't cause you to get attacked by Iran. Because why? What you attacked them on who? On behalf of who? Amalek. But anyway, let me go back to that article real quick. Okay. Shit. Was I done this article? Hold up. So Garrett wanted this. What's this guy's name? Anderson. What is his name? What is this guy's name? Okay, so this is Lieutenant General Leonard F. Anderson. So this guy Anderson says, he says, I just felt at a time on the planet and where we are as a force in the Marine Corps is what it was just time for a reminder to reserve force to be ready. And I wanted to get that message out as widely as possible, he said. I owe it to not only the Marines to make sure that they're ready, but to their families, their parents, their wives, whatever it might be, if a reservist is activated and going forward. See? Prepare war. And that's what the Lord is doing, having these devils prepared for war. And who was speaking of these things first before it started happening? The prophets of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Start with the apostles of GMS on down. Period. For years. Over 20 years. Over 30 years. You got 40-some years for the apostles. So this ain't so you have the true believer. We're not surprised. We're actually happy. We're excited. We're saying, yo, keep going. Keep it going. And gosh darling, they're gonna keep it going. Because it's prophecy. And that's the thing, it's prophecy. Nobody can say, no other religion can say, like, oh yeah, well, we had prophets that said these things were gonna happen beforehand. No. Islam don't got it, Buddha don't got it, Egyptology don't got it, Christianity don't got it. It's the prophets of who? YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Those are the names, those are the servants of those entities, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. Those are the men that have been prophesying, saying that, yo, these things will happen here, there. When you see these things, it's all because of who? Prophecy of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Hell, YAHAWASHI told the disciples. And that's in the New Testament. So the things happening right now have been foretold already from the man himself, YAHAWASHI. All right, but continuing on. It says, it's my responsibility as the commander of Marine Forces Reserve to make sure that they are trained, equipped, and prepared, and their families are prepared to put them forward. If I didn't do that, if I wasn't reminding the force to be ready, I'd be failing as a commander. So, but see, prepare war. And we're getting to the thick of it. We're about to get down to the nitty gritty. Oh, yo, they talk about they want to now. They already got rid of pennies. Now they talk about the nickels. So you can see how they're slowly but surely and gradually getting out of this system, this current system, and now coming into the new system, which ultimately going to be what? The MOTB. All right. It says, since the U.S. began strikes on Iran February 28th, the prospect of a longer fight involving ground troops has been the subject of intense speculation. No, but you're going to go over there. The U.S., just to let it be clear, and I say this in the power of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, they're going to put boots on the ground eventually. I don't know when, but they're going to put boots on the ground eventually. It's inevitable. How could they not? It says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth refused to rule out a boots on the ground scenario. Mind you, this article is from April 2nd. It's April 20th. So you can only imagine what has happened in the last 2 weeks. Now they had all the ceasefire madness, but at the end of the day, the fight's on. It said he said in his letterhead, fight's on. So it says the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth refused to rule out a boots on the ground scenario early in the assault, saying he did not want to limit military options. The Pentagon has reportedly begun planning for ground operations lasting weeks, and U.S. troops on ships and aircraft continue to pour into the region at the ready for a major operation. Now, hold up. Now, if you talk about you want to talk about peace, these are not actions of what seeking peace. You're sending more of your military over there. You're sending more people over there as far as getting ready for a fight. So, but you saying, oh, you want to end the war. So if you want to really end the war, how you gonna be sending more fighters and troops and military over there and military weapons over there? How you got the small hats in Israel talking about, oh well, we're getting ready for another battle with the Iranians. If you don't never hear the small hat talk about peace. They be talking about fighting for some more. All right. And it says Anderson said the response he's seen to his letter has been overwhelmingly positive. I have not dived down into the long Reddit chains to dwell on some of the negative comments there, he said, adding, I don't think there was a question out there from the majority of the reserve force that, yes, we should be ready. While most of the roughly 33,600 Marine reservists are typically in a drilling status, holding down civilian jobs while maintaining readiness and a contingency, recent conflicts have seen the rapid activation of reserve forces. You see that? Rapid activation of reserve forces. Rapid, which means quickly, quick. The day of the Lord cometh quickly. The day of the Lord is near. It is near. We shall war with the nations and the armies. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get there too because I got one more article. It said reserve forces responded immediately in the wake of the September 11, 2001 T attacks and piloted the first fixed-wing aircraft into Afghan airspace, according to Air Force Reserve Command. Likewise, reserve units were on the ground in the Middle East for the months leading up to the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Formally, a full mobilization of the reserves required a declaration of war or a national emergency by Congress. Partial mobilization of up to 1 million reservists for up to 2 years can be triggered by a presidential national emergency declaration. An additional authority enables the president to call up 200,000 members of the selected reserve and up to 30 members of the individual ready reserve, those who have recently left active duty for up to a year. But you see that? But you see that? What Joel 3, chapter 3, verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Yeah, you've been reserved, and you're reserved for what? This present day that's approaching. These present days approaching. The time of war. Times of war. And it is only going to get worse. And before the big show of the nuclear destruction of America, you're going to have a bunch of stuff happening prior to that. Okay, let me get that one more article. What was it? Headed to the middle. In fact, Yahoo. Oh, you bitch. Okay, so hold on, I can get this. So this is from Forbes magazine, and this is from April 19th, which is yesterday. It says 3 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers will soon be in the Middle East. I'm gonna get right into it. So it says the record length deployment of the United States Navy's newest and largest operational nuclear powered supercarrier continues. The USS Gerald R. Ford CVN 78 has been at sea for 299 days as of Saturday, surpassing the post Vietnam War era record of 294 days of the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is the CVN 72, set during that aircraft carrier's 2019 2020 deployment. U.S. Navy officials have indicated that USS Gerald R. Ford could be deployed for up to 11 months, equaling and even surpassing the 332 day deployment of USS Midway CVA 41, which lasted from April 10th, 1972 until March 3rd, 1973, at the peak of the Vietnam War. That mission has remained a benchmark for long term carrier operations, for which CVA 41 received the presidential citation. According to reports, the USS Gerald R. Ford, along with the Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyers USS Mahan 9, which is DDG 72, and US Winston S. Churchill, DDG 81, transited the Suez Canal over the weekend. CVN 78 and her escorts are now operating in United States Central Command area of responsibility in the Red Sea. The Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group had previously been in the waters between Africa and the Arabian Peninsula when a fire broke out on a flagship supercarrier in the middle of March, forcing its return to port for repairs. The carrier first headed to Crete and then to Split, Croatia, where she departed on April 2nd, resuming operations. The deployment to the Middle East was unexpected, and USS Gerald R. Ford was redirected to the region in February after operating in the Caribbean. Although she remained in the Red Sea, she supported CVN 72, which had been dispatched to the Arabian Sea in January after previously conducting operations in the South China Sea. But you see what's going on. They just sending a bunch of shit over there now. But they talk about they want peace. But that's what the scripture said. Assemble yourselves. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that real quick. I'm gonna close it out because oops. Oops. So this is Joel, the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim you this among the Gentiles, is what brothers been doing for years. Proclaiming this among the Gentiles, it says, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's exactly what's taking place. All the men of war draw near, they're coming up. And they're going up to what? To the so-called Middle East, which ain't no Middle East, you know what I'm saying? But they're preparing war. They're assembling themselves. And ironically, they're going over there to where the same thing says in here, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which would be, basically over there in the land of Jerusalem, the land over there by the land of Israel, within the land of Israel. You got so-called the small hats, which claim to be the Israelites. They're claiming to be the descendants of Jacob, but they're what? They're the main antagonists of these wars. They're the main culprit of this war. They're the main culprit of everything, man. All the fuckery going on earth right now, you got to blame Amalek in some form of fashion. Yeah, you got wicked ass Jakes, you got these wicked ass other nations that ain't shit themselves. But who's at the top? Who's at the top of the pyramid of wickedness? Esau, Edom, and who's at that top of that pyramid? Amalek of the Edomites, the top tribes of the Edomites. They're the ones calling the shots. They're the least of the flock that's drawing everybody in. They're the ones that got American officials and militaries and all that stuff in their back pocket. But now the whole world is hip to it now. Now everybody knows because what? You've been exposed. That wicked man is revealed. This the times where you're being revealed now. You've been exposed. Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh. Now everybody knows that you a piece of shit. Now everybody knows what you're doing because now everybody can see it. You were able to get get away with a lot more back before social media, back before the internet, which is why these devils are trying to get a control on the narrative on the media. The whole thing that happened with Al Jazeera a couple years back when all this shit started with Amalek and the Palestinians over there in the land, right? Which is escalated from that. Everybody's saying that, yo. That's why everybody's saying what? Away with genocide. But hey, now it's cooking more and more. And there's a lot more other prophecies coming to pass. We still got the MOTB, they getting that ready. They talk about getting rid of the nickel now. A whole digital currency, CBDC. You still got civil unrest, sedition among men, uproars. You just had because remember the Lord said there should be wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes. You just had a 7.4 or 7.5 earthquake over there in Japan, and they said a possible tsunami couldn't follow. So we got a bunch of prophecies coming to pass where like, yo, all right, this is the truth. Clearly, this is the truth. Clearly, the end is speaking according to what the scriptures. Because there's no other religion, no other prophecies of no other books of these religions. So they said that we said that first. No. The prophets of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI said it. Because why? It's thus saith the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, not our call. This is his word. He declared it in the beginning, but he said what? I brought my word through the mouths of my prophets, who are Israelites. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM Rakakadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Israel, aka the Apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.